Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hey, welcome to the Jackie and Laurie Show.
You're Laurie Kilmartin.
And you're Jackie Cation.
Welcome to our show. Here it is at Nerdist, you guys. We're doing it.
I was very distracted by the sound of laughter downstairs
They're playing,
at the Meltdown.
Yeah, here we are at the Meltdown Comic Books where they're playing D&D 5th edition.
Yeah.
You know 5th edition.
I'm not used to laughter in the daytime. It makes me uncomfortable. Daytime is for depression and sadness.
Right.
Laughter
and
is
some
for the
sort
night.
of Law and Order marathon. Is that sort of
Yes.
some sort of long naps in between masturbation technique?
Oh, goodness.
I don't know how you do the road. But, I don't know what your 3 o'clock nap
I
is all about.
masturbate more to docs. So Making a Murderer,
documentaries.
for example.
Oh, my
Stephen
God.
Avery, he did give me a good one. When he's cleaned up, he's not horrible. No.
Wow.
He was horrible.
He was
But
that is
something
not
about that also appealed to me in a really disgusting way.
That is a lot. I could introduce you to any number of gentlemen from Wisconsin who look
Keep me
exactly
away from
like
your
that.
Wisconsin friends.
I think those are relatives.
I know. we all have an offshoot of our family that's just like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I do, and we're very
In every state in the
Yes.
union.
Yeah,
I'm going to Washington State when this will drop, and I
Yeah.
have to say that you get out of Seattle. I'm in
Oh,
Tacoma.
yeah. Right.
And already people in Seattle make fun of Tacoma.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? Why? It's warring trailer parks. Who gives a shit? And which isn't. I mean, the people of Seattle are like, no, we're tech people. And I was like, I think they're tech people in Tacoma. I can't tell the difference. It seems very lovely.
I think Tacoma has it's got a little the air of Modesto to it versus when you compare it to Seattle, which is of course very alike.
Oh, it's a little more blue collar versus white collar. Or?
Very blue. I
Okay.
bet there's a pro-choice billboard somewhere in Tacoma, or within 20 minutes of it.
I'm staying
there's a
at the
beating heart.
Murano Glass Hotel.
It's awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very beautiful. They've done some good work with glass. And
Yeah.
they've brought it into Tacoma to
It is
jazz
really
up
cool.
the town. So,
How was how was your New Year's Eve gig? Did you have one?
I didn't have one. You did work.
I did.
I don't like it, but you did a hell of a gig, didn't you? With,
Well, it
Chad
was a fun
Daniels and-
gig. Okay, so
You worked
it was,
with a bunch of great comics,
yes,
right?
3 nights at Cobb's in San Francisco,
Which is big.
it's a huge room. None of us can fill Cobb's, but together we all. So the first 2 nights it was
Yeah.
me and Jacob Siroff.
Yep.
Who I was informed I called him Jason for 10 years straight, and he never corrected me. But I am.
That was a good sport. of
Yeah,
him.
I'm on point now. And Chad Daniels,
Okay.
who
So
does
just
not
the
have
three
a
of you.
crush on Chad Daniels. He's so adorable.
Chad Daniels is adorable,
Yes.
and he's so funny,
Yeah.
and it's just smart, funny, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I wonder how I could get that on me. It's kind of that genius thing. I don't know
Jacob
why.
and I were plotting, and neither of us were successful.
Right, there you go.
And then,
Which is probably for the best. We can talk
It's
about that
always
in a minute.
for the
It's
best.
Always for. I didn't want to judge.
it's always for the best. But so and then the third night, us 3 plus Scott Capurro, San Francisco-based guy, but
good.
he's half the time in London. He has this exotic comedy life that I wish I was leading sometimes. He and
Yeah.
Tom Rhodes they do all these. They're in Hong Kong. They do all these fucking amazing gigs all over the world that
I know.
I would love to do one day.
I did Hong Kong, but I have to tell you that when I saw Tom Rhodes, because it's never enough. It's never enough.
Right.
You're just like, my career is amazing.
Yeah.
According to every other comic who is like looking at my career, they're like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh my God, your career is amazing. But I'm like, well, did you see Tom Rhodes got to play Paris last year?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to play Paris. And why would I? You can't complain. You can only complain up. You cannot complain down. You cannot complain. You can complain laterally, but that's it.
There's too many directions in that metaphor, but I think I know what you mean.
You know, like if I started talking to comics who don't get to even work the road,
Right.
or who never got to do TV,
Right.
you're like, oh, shut up. Nobody
exactly.
wants to.
That you got to go to Con-Con,
But
yeah.
between you and I, yes,
Yes,
let there
and
be.
this is between you and I.
It is between you and I. We're the only
not
ones in here, except
optimistic
for
about our
Aristotle.
listeners.
Hi guys, how's it going out there?
So Scott's there, and it was great to see him because we came up together in San Francisco.
Oh, that's great.
And Karen Kilgariff and Drennan Davis, who do funny songs, which
Yes.
doesn't sound funny, but they're great at it.
Oh, my
Like,
gosh.
they do funny stuff. It's written funny. They're both really great performers. Karen has
I
the
saw her
voice
last
of
night.
an angel.
She,
yeah.
so- and her. I remember when she first started playing the guitar here in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, and it was bad. And she would make jokes about how bad a guitar she was.
Yeah.
And then like a year ago, I saw her play, and I said, "Wow, you're really good now." And she goes, "I know, I lost all that material." She's like,
Yeah.
"All I do is sit around and play guitar."
It
So-
was lovely, and it
Yeah.
was funny, and
It's so smart and funny and dark and
Yes.
great, all the good things.
and Kevin Avery, who's a San Francisco guy
yeah.
he's from a newer generation,
Right.
So he's Scott. He came after Scott and I, and he's also writing on John Oliver right now. So
Right.
he's like got Peabodys and Emmy nominations all over the place.
Just he can't sit. There's too many statues.
Yeah.
Possible statue space.
Yeah, and MC Tony Kameen.
Oh my God, Tony
who's-
Kameen.
Again, I started
People
with him.
find
I've known
Tony
him forever.
Kameen.
He's
Yeah.
he's the man. If we ever do an honorary dude that we say you should fucking know who this comic is,
Right.
it should be Tony.
Tony
Kameen.
Kameen is one of them for sure. Just
Hilarious.
because he's
Yeah, so
why
quick.
is he so well kept as
Yeah.
a secret?
Yeah, I don't know.
It isn't cool. Just because he's great.
Yeah. So it was awesome, but it was like, okay, so on New Year's Eve, Molly who books the punchlines,
Right.
like, do you have a +1? No, thanks, but I don't. And then, so I take Bart in by
Neat,
myself.
neat, neat.
I walk up Kearney, and at this time, I feel so lucky to be working, and I
Right.
feel so like I'm working in San Francisco. It's
get to
all
work with great
magic
comedy,
and
yeah.
life highlights happening right now. Christmas trees and beautiful stuff. And
Okay.
I sit in a restaurant, I eat by myself on New Year's Eve, full of couples who are,
Sure.
in love or faking it. They look like it to me.
Right. At least they're on dates. Something's happening there together.
Yes, and I felt like, man, am I? There's. Maybe I've just been a comic so long. I'm really good at being alone. I'm really good at it, and I'm almost too good at it. And I feel like I've become like. You ever see those trees on the Monterey coast where the wind has pushed them for so many hundreds of years? They lean to
They
the
grow
to
over the
east.
edge?
Yes,
Yes.
and they never. When the wind is not there, they still stay that way.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been pushed a certain way.
You've grown in that direction?
By comedy,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I'm ever going to connect with somebody unless they're also broken in that same way.
No. I literally 12 years ago, I said I wanted a boyfriend. And that's all I said because I felt that comedy had done that.
Right.
You're just like, I'm just used to being alone, and I actually genuinely like being alone.
Right.
I am good
Except
at it.
for the
Except for-
occasional crushing loneliness.
Right, except for the occasional crushing loneliness. I'm completely. So I decided to do the fucking online dating, and I did it. But what I went with, and we've had this conversation before, is that you have to choose because I don't know if it's just as comedians or as women comics, but I always was like, I would never let anyone be nice to me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's not funny. How is it hilarious that you're being nice to me and that you like me a lot?
Right.
Where's the comedy there?
Right.
Well, it turns out it doesn't have to all be comedy. It can just be love. And I didn't go in hiring the caterers. I went in just going, you know what I would like? A monogamous.
You're the indicator.
I'm going. I just want a boyfriend. I want
Right.
someone who's not going to be screwing anyone else but me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to screw anyone but him. And then we can go forward from that and whatever happens from that. And so my expectations were nicely low, like a comic's ought to be.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
with
You're
a
right.
big expectation of letting someone be nice to me, and that it didn't have to be a comic, and it didn't have to be anything.
Well,
it
my-
just had to be someone who I wanted to be nice to. And
I'm
and
attracted to assholes.
you have always been attracted, but so was I.
Really?
Yeah, I've always. Are you kidding? I have a litany of stand-up comics that just comics and
Alphas.
and just.
Yes.
Alphas or fake alphas,
Right.
who are like
Betas wishing they were alphas.
betas who wouldn't call themselves alphas but are probably alphas just because they have microphones,
right.
Yeah, and so it just there was no point to it. It's like having a crush on the guy you're working with, where you're like, oh, it'd be great if he liked me back, and then you're like, oh no, it actually would not be. It would be a terrible, be the worst if he liked me back. So I've had so many
Yeah.
crushes on so many comics, and it's
I know. I had a baby. That's how crushed I got by a comic.
right. Luckily, I love that joke about why you got pregnant.
Oh, my God.
That is the greatest because
Yeah.
could have happened to any of us. Anyway,
So,
But you said you ran into Garofalo.
Oh
too.
yes,
Was that in New York?
In
2
New
weeks ago?
York.
Yeah.
So we should never talk between podcasts, but we did. You told me
Right.
that some guy you did a podcast with yesterday, somebody whose name you can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You go. He said, Lori Kilmartin hates me. And I'm
Right.
like, what? I don't think I hate anybody.
Yeah.
And I got angry that this person was thinking they understood my emotions. That some nameless comic knows me. Fuck you. I don't hate you. But now I do hate you for. But then I realized, like,
Now I don't want to tell you his name because I just remembered it. Anyway.
I'm the type of person that if I don't know how you feel about me, I'll make up your emotion, and it's never good. You hate me.
But that's That's exactly what he
yes,
did.
I know it's what he did.
Yeah.
That's my move, fucko. You fucking hack.
Well, the
Stop
weirdest
stealing
thing,
from me.
we were just talking about how, because somebody else said, Andy Wood said that Mark Maron didn't like him. And I
Yeah.
said, here's how you'll know that Mark Maron likes you, is when Mark Maron comes up to you out of the blue and says, why don't you like me? And you're like, wait, you're the one I thought you didn't. And he's like, what do you mean? And then you'll realize that you both like each other and it should be fun.
Yeah, and it's all comics, and we're all crazy.
Yeah, we're
There's
all
always-
just spinning some
Yes.
sort of weird dialogue.
Yes. There's lots of it interior. If you could just slice open a comic and listen, watch their brain thoughts for a day, you'd be just so disturbing.
Like a record groove?
Yeah.
Like if you could cut them in half and then put the needle down just
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle and go, oh no, that's not
no,
real.
no.
That actually isn't anything. You might want
This
to back
person
up.
has my phone number. Oh my god! So
You're
so
in
I
New
see-
York.
So Janine Garofalo's on the same show as me at the Stand, and I get there late, and I missed her set, which I would have loved to have seen. But I had always thought, oh, she didn't like me. She's an alt comic. I was, she thought I was a road hack. That's my story.
That was the story you were. Okay.
Although there was that division in the early '90s of if you didn't move to LA and do,
it was a
that's
lot
how
more separate.
felt.
It was a lot more separate
Yes.
in '99 and
Yeah.
'97. It was a lot
so
more like that.
I've had this chip on my shoulder, and then
Fantastic.
I went up and I just introduced myself.
Oh, good.
And she goes, "Hey," and I go, "It's Lori Kilmartin," and she goes, "Oh yeah, I knew you."
San
And-
Francisco, right?
Yeah, and we were just kind of talking as we're the same age, and
Right.
we're still doing spots. It's almost like I don't know if there was any sort of division, but it was just nice to have a quick chat and go, "Wow, it's nice to see you," and we're still working.
Right. It's
know.
more of that. That's your
Yeah.
favorite thing, though.
Yeah.
You love to see women of our age going, oh my God, we're still doing comedy.
Yes.
It's genuinely your favorite thing.
It's very exciting to me, and I'm always excited that I'm still because, dude, there are so many great comics now.
Yeah.
Like. A long time ago, there weren't that many female comics, and once you were good,
Right.
you'd get all the low-paying gigs.
Right. If there was a shitty gig, you got it.
Yes, but now there's a ton of funny women.
Yep.
And there's a ton of funny dudes too, and we're all
We're in a
still
golden
scrambling
age
for
of
the
stand-up.
same.
Yeah.
We're at the same 52 weeks a year. The Punchline has to book, or every
Yeah.
club has to book. And if
sure.
and if you're not famous,
Yeah.
and you're competing with a lot of people who also have a couple 10 or 20 or 30,000 Twitter followers. Like
Right.
we're all in the same pool. and it's-
There's a lot of people at that sort of same level
Yes.
that are also really, really talented and really
Yeah.
gifted men
and who will
women.
all do a great job.
Right, and so we're not getting the freak show votes that we used to get.
Yes.
but I'm okay. That's a trade off.
Yes.
It's like when people say, "Oh, yeah, I bet you'd love it if Trump became president because then you'd have comedy to write." I'm like, no, I'm willing to write other material.
Yeah,
for the rest of my damn
Muslim
life.
comics would really clean up, though.
Oh, but yeah,
Just
and it's what they're looking
as they
for.
did after September 12th on. It was
just a gravy boat.
renaissance for Muslim comics, and Hispanics would also do really well.
Yeah,
so,
it's really if
yeah,
only.
the oppressed group can if there's a funny person.
You
in it,
remember
really
how the
flip it
Jews
around.
really flourished right after World War II? Yeah, but I think they were doing fine before World War II.
Yeah,
and
no, I
there
don't
were
think they
plenty of them.
traded. I think they go, hey, we'll give away Woody Allen if we don't have the Holocaust. I mean, I'm not Jewish, but I think that they would make that deal.
Oh, I think, and Woody Allen might have taken a bullet if he could have had one more, 18 or 19-year-old girl to sleep with right before it happened. Right, but I was like, I will go into the guest. Wow, guess who got super dark, super fast?
Super
Jackie
fast.
Cation. I'll be over here,
Dude,
And
well,
you know how
listen.
cheerful the Dork Forest is? It's just cheerful. My other podcast is so cheerful that I come here and I get to be super
We
dark
get to,
comedy.
We get to dump and beat. Matt. So Bill Cosby arraigned.
Oh, right. Arraigned, finally.
Yeah. And it's weird. I'm like, do we even have to talk about it? I mean, he's a comic, but he's a rapist. He's a serial rapist who should have been arrested decades ago.
Right.
And no one believed it.
Is anyone wondering what kind of jokes he's writing?
I do want to see his new chunk.
I bet she has like 3 or 4 new bits that he's working on.
Yeah.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy that he has nowhere to fucking work on them. And so, do you think he'll show up at open mics? Because he's a comic.
That I tweeted that I hope his cellmate is an aspiring comic and is constantly going, "Do you think this is funny?" And it's not. Like, he's not good. I would. We used to wish prison rape on the. No,
Yeah.
I wish an aspiring, not funny comic to be his cellmate.
Anybody's. Yeah. Well, what I think. I actually will be I'd be very surprised if he wasn't going to open mics. Because that's a guy who needs to do stand-up.
I know. He's, he can't.
Too soon?
He'll be in prison. But
Right.
he's not, he's also been catered to for the last 50 years.
Right.
In
But
terms
remember
of
Seinfeld's...
he's no Seinfeld.
No. Oh, he is no Seinfeld.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't
In
have
many
that
ways.
ethic. Yeah. I don't think he does. I think he's used to...
Just showing up and riding
being,
the wave.
Hello, Mr. Cosby, right this way, Mr. Cosby, here's your... I mean, those guys don't go to open mics.
Okay.
They can't do it. They can't switch.
Okay.
And he didn't start an open mic. So it's not like even...
If I were a horrible person, I don't know how I would stop doing stand-up.
Right.
Like if I would be like, where can I pick up a set? And I would, go down to the Silver Lake Lounge at 5:00.
Listen.
But I too am no Cosby. It turns out, or Cosby is no Jackie Cation.
Energy worrying about Bill Cosby's career when we're going to plug our friend, our female comic friend, who we really love a lot. Who we
Canadian.
We're gonna do this once a week.
Yeah, once a week
we're going to say this is a comic who's really funny and you should know. And maybe comedy people know who she is, but I don't think she's general public famous.
And everyone we pick
fucking hilarious
should know Deborah DiGiovanni.
Yes,
Deborah DiGiovanni. First of all, charm oozing out of every pore of her body. The writing is exceptional.
Yes.
The stage presence is great. Deborah DiGiovanni, look into it, folks, because she's unstoppable.
She's also like, there's a lot of comics
There's
where...
an old Netflix special.
Yeah, she has an old Netflix.
Yeah.
She tweeted that it had... Netflix has brought it back as like an old special. But... a lot of comics you see and you go, okay, that person's pretty good. Then you check in 2 years later, you're like, what the fuck, you been working? They're great.
Oh, the blow, yeah.
And then,
They'll
and
hit like
Deborah, Canadian comics in general, but Deborah in particular had done all that work in Canada. So she came here as a headliner. And I remember being on, we talked about this the Hat Show with her.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm like, oh, hey, nice. I hadn't really seen her. And then, I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Going over my own dick jokes.
Right. You got your own.
and then I just hear the stamping of feet and pounding of table and audience, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this?" And she was crushing, and she just has headliner energy. She's somebody you'd be like, "Go take the Friday Late Show." You could
it doesn't
trust
even
her
matter.
To do anything. Yeah, I think she's a great club.
Yeah, I think she could play any. I'm certain of it that she could play any room. From casinos to cruises to dirtbag
and
one-nighters.
Nice, nice, cool person,
and awesome. Oh my god, and a decent human being.
Yeah,
can that be the rule? Is that we could pick our new favorite women comics that people don't know about, but they also have to be someone that we would also want to hang out with.
That cuts out 2 people I can think of. But
damn it!
You know what? That's cool. Whatever.
Fair enough. All right. So
I got off Facebook.
Did you deactivate your account?
Yes. Here's the thing.
I'm so jealous.
I might have to go back on because I realize that's how a lot of book a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of my worlds colliding. Like, I don't want the bully from 3rd grade and a comedian from This Life Now talking on the same post, and I feel like my heartstrings are always being pulled. Of remember this guy, remember that, and
When did you do it? Did you do it in the new year?
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was flying back with my kid.
All
And I
right.
did it on the plane.
You're like done.
yeah, but I'll,
At least for
I'll
a
be
minute.
back. But it is.
It's almost like those dating sites, though. If you take 3 months off,
Yeah.
you can refill the well.
Yeah.
Refill the well, man.
I am tired of remembering every part of my life. Like I want shit to be in the past, and I just spent the week
Fair
at
enough.
home going through my mom,
Farrakhan.
going through all my clippings that my dad kept, and like, do I keep this stuff? Like, how do you throw away
right, the
a
stuff
bad
that he
review?
collects.
Yeah,
About you? Did he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
There's
stuff
something
about
I was.
you?
I was like 91 in 1991. I was working some room in Napa,
Oh,
and
that's-
the Napa wine guy
That is
came
the
out to review
most
the comedy
supportive
club.
I have never had a parent who has given a shit that much.
Oh, my
Holy
dad
smokes.
kept every
That
possible
is very
clipping.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That is very
it's,
beautiful.
It's cool, but I'm just steeped
But now-
in nostalgia and memories,
Right.
and I'm like, I just want to fucking live in 2016 right now. I don't
Live in
want
the
to. I
moment.
don't want to live in 1991. And
Right.
but then you've like I found this old punchline flyer, and the headliners for the month. It was
Right.
6 weeks. It was Carrie Snow, Margaret Cho, Judy Gold.
Wow.
And then the others were Alan Havey, Henry Cho, and I forget, and David Feldman. So it was
Okay.
half the headliners were women.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I fucking love San Francisco. And
Right.
as I was working in San Francisco,
Yeah.
I don't know, just I have too many feelings now. I
Right.
used to be a hard ass, man, and my
Right.
kid fucking cut me open and turned me
That's
into
it.
this bleeding, feeling person, and I can't stand it. I want to be hard again. I want to write rape jokes. Like I want to write like hard, nasty shit that might hurt people's feelings, but I have too much empathy. It's ruined me.
I have this to say, which
Yeah.
is that I think that there will be new comedy that comes from a softer, kindler, gentler Laurie Kilmartin.
Gross.
I know that you think it's gross. I think it's
do.
going to be awesome, and I think that that your boy is awesome, and that
is.
you
He's-
are. It's just a way that there's. You know, I've talked to dude comics who are like, I don't know what happened when my kid was born. It just I cry now.
It destroys
And
you. It
you're like-
destroys part of your comedy hardness, and that's good or bad. It's both.
I
It's
think
both.
it can be used for good. I think that you can come. I mean, I'm a kindler, gentler person since I got love in my life, right?
Yeah.
And
Are you talking about your lizard?
I was talking about my iguana, Tiberius Gracchus, Tiberius Dracus, and I'm talking about D&D 3.5. I think that it opens a whole new. It's like when you're writing, because I can talk to this right now. Is that we have talked before on episodes that maybe aired when we don't have an episode when we're both on the road or we're too busy to record, is the aging process is a big part of what you wanted to talk about on this
Right.
thing, and how it's manifesting in this one. Jackie
Yeah.
Cation is bossy fucking Magoo is telling comics what is wrong with their comedy.
You know what? They should fucking listen to you. If they don't,
Guess
I'll
what?
be mad.
It's none of my goddamn business what anybody else is doing on stage.
It's true.
But it's the first thing you learn in comedy.
Right.
Shut it. No, nobody has asked for your opinion. They get to do whatever they want
I
with their 10
know.
minutes. And
Yeah.
if it's a nightmare and you follow them, then you can rip them. You
Yeah.
can rip them to shreds.
Yeah.
If you are on stage after they have been on stage.
Yeah.
When you are standing in the audience,
Oh,
there is absolutely no reason to start yelling, which has happened twice in the last 6 months.
you are out of control.
I am not the
You're
hero
yelling
of-
at comedian.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm not the
wait,
hero
wait.
of this story.
You called me.
The night it happened.
Yes. Now we don't usually talk that much during the week.
It's
but
true.
You were in such despair.
I
You needed
felt
an
really
immediate
bad about it. I was
conversation.
like, I can't. I was just yelling at this guy. It was.
Wait, what happened? You were
Okay.
at this. Tell
I-
the whole.
Okay, so I was doing a gig here in Los Angeles, and there were like 5 or 6 guys going up in a row, and I can tell that they're
White-
funny.
white, right?
All white guys
Okay.
except for an Argentinian guy who had been adopted by white people in Orange County.
Argentina,
so he too
by
was
the
also
way,
white.
is considered the Europe of Latin America.
It's
a white guy.
Whatever. They were a bunch of dudes, and they were Comedy Store guys, and they were good friends, and there were 6 of them, and they were genuinely an echo chamber for each other.
Right.
So they were doing topics: domestic abuse,
Mm-hmm.
the hilarity of domestic abuse, the hilarity of rape, the drunkalogs, and drugalogs. Just essentially, this is me drunk and being this guy. This is me on drugs being this guy, and then some inappropriate racial bullshit. But the thing is they all know each other well enough,
Right.
that they know that they're kidding, and they know that they're trying to outdark each other.
Right.
And so they're all laughing. And then there's 15, 20 other people who are uncomfortable, but going, oh, I see what you did there. And it's just fucking Chinese water torture on me. It's like tink,
Yeah.
tink, tink, tink. And so 5 guys in a row with this. 3 of the 6 guys who went up on stage, the punchline of one of their jokes was, she had a rape mouth.
Whoa, I haven't heard that before.
Well, they wrote it together. Who knows? I don't know what happened.
An amazing writing session we weren't invited to.
Right? And I was like, I need another punchline, because I have inappropriate domestic abuse
I
and
love dark
sexual
stuff,
abuse.
and I love dark stuff for the sake of dark stuff.
You do. And I laugh at it myself. So there's no reason for me to just go, "Oh my God, you're killing me," from the audience. Sorry. You're killing me. And it's like, what? And then I said, "What are you, Beth Stelling's boyfriend?" Which is so inappropriate. It's got all kinds of, and I love Beth Stelling, but and Beth Stelling has been getting so much shit lately for coming out with all this stuff. And
I think she's gotten more support than shit.
So do I.
right?
So do I. Yeah. So
and
she was.
Listen, I mean, hey, I love a great awful rape joke, but I'm like, I appreciate how you put those words together. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an exercise sometimes
Yeah.
in how you can do it. And I see that there's some sort of Jeselnickian, if I can
Right.
turn his name into an adjective,
People
desire
aspire.
to see what you can get away with.
Yes.
I love that. I feel that like that all the time. I try to apply it to my own emotional life. How can I get you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm also between hearing a white guy's ironic rape joke or whatever Beth Stelling is going to come up with now, because
Oh, yeah, 'cause that was why she did
pay
it.
to hear Beth talk about it.
Talk about 45 minutes about your dead dad.
Really? I know,
It's going to
I
be
know.
45 minutes about her crazy ass relationship with
Yes.
this banana head.
Yeah.
That
And it's
actually isn't a
almost-
strong enough word.
Too.
I'll keep moving.
No, easy, lady. 'Cause you,
Yeah, slow down. Back
reserve
up.
that talk for Cosby, the banana head. But yeah, I mean, that's and I like that she, I kind of do that too with my dad. But she said ahead of time, I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
And I think she felt she had to announce it because everyone knew who her ex was.
Yeah,
and was like, guess what? This is going to be awkward for all you guys if you know him.
Right. We're all going to be awkward together.
I did
and I'm
because he was
hopeful-
an improv guy. Try to stay away from those people.
It turns out
I'm a stand-up here.
I was Facebook friends with him until yesterday, and then I was like, "Oh, we're done now," and because I don't want to hear the drama. It's bad enough, but I cannot wait for the stand up, because I have
Yeah.
a great deal of passion about people writing about what they're passionate
Yes,
about.
yes.
And if it is something that's super cold or really dark, that's fine, as
Yeah.
long as it comes from a real place inside of you.
Yes,
But
yes.
that's grammacation, wanting to tell absolutely
Right.
every little.
I mean, other comics are just not going to do that. They shouldn't have
And
to.
they-
I mean,
yeah.
some of my favorite jokes are when it's the victim that suffers in the joke, when it's the microwaved baby's fault. I mean, I love that shit because it's so wrong.
Right.
It's
But
they have to be really well done. I mean,
Right.
those are
It
really
is a
hard to pull
learned
off.
skill. It's a
And
learned
so
skill.
when if you're tracking a comic before they've really learned how to do it, it is painful.
Oh, it's like
Then
listening
when
to someone learn to play the violin.
Yes,
It isn't right.
Yes, Anthony Jeselnik, I think, probably does it better than anybody right now.
He's got it going on, but everyone sees that stuff. They're like,
Yes.
"Hey, Jeselnik, I want to
Yeah.
be like that. I want to be like Sarah Silverman,
Yeah.
with the racial stuff. And
Yeah.
I want to be like this." Or Zach Galifianakis, and you're like, "Okay, those are learned skills.
Yeah,
and
it takes
try not to do it in a book show or a gig.
years. Yeah.
and try
And
not
a
to do
lot
it
of
at a
skill
paid
and-
gig.
Yeah.
and And like I will say this, even Doug Stanhope
Yeah.
does some of the coldest, darkest stuff I've
yeah.
ever heard in my life.
Right.
But you never get the impression that he's doing it from a place of meanness.
No, he lives it.
It's-
He lives it.
His heart
Yeah.
is for everybody in that horrible joke.
Yeah, yeah,
He is
yeah.
on everybody's side
Yeah.
in the worst fucking joke you've ever heard in your life.
In fact, I'm glad you brought his name up because I was thinking about him when you were talking earlier about how Stanhope, like that's another guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what his rape joke would be or what like I want to hear his point of view because of how long he's lived, how full his life has been.
Right.
He brings in all of his experiences into
Yes.
his stories, and I love hearing them.
Right. His life is very messy on
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah.
And it informs all of his stand up. So it's kind of it's just fun to you don't
Yeah.
leave the room. It's like Chad Daniels.
Yeah.
You don't leave the room when Chad in my case, I
Yeah.
never leave the room when Chad Daniels is on stage.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it's gonna go.
I know.
You don't know who he's gonna turn on in the audience.
He does snap.
And he snaps and it's the best.
I guess he was at the Punchline earlier in the summer and he snapped at it. I mean, San Francisco audiences are they will cause you to snap. They've become incredibly white, very
Well-dressed.
techie, very it's a bunch of white people that don't hire minorities, but they're very sensitive about so any
That's
any kind of
perfect.
racial
That's what we're looking for in
Yes.
some sort of weird dystopian future.
Yeah, and they're all incredibly well. It's
Spooky.
It's this weird. It's changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So there was various levels of snapping by many comics this week on the audience. But yeah,
But nobody snapped at other comics. But that's where I'm at. So what do you what else do you want to talk about? You got anything?
let's see.
You had a list.
I did have a list. Okay, so I told a guy on OkCupid that I'm a comic, and then
Oh, of course, because you have to.
he did ask, he's like, hey, let me go see a show. Like, okay, guess what? I'm not trying to get audience members on OkCupid. Okay, I'm not trolling.
Right, this is not my
Let
career.
me give you tickets to my next show at Flappers. Like, you know what? Let's go on a date.
Can we just go on a
But
date?
then I kind of steered it away from
Yeah.
that, and then we're going to talk on the phone. I've moved very slowly. I want messages. You better impress me verbally, and then we'll talk on the phone.
Chitter chat. Okay, so what I would do is I would have the email exchange.
Yeah.
And then we'd talk on the phone. Mm-hmm. And then we would have like a coffee, lunch.
Yeah.
The greatest thing Andy Ashcraft ever did was he said, do you like breakfast? I was like, it's my favorite fucking meal. And then we met at
That
the
is a
breakfast.
brilliant opening line. 'Cause, The woman who says no, you cross off your list.
Right, exactly.
immediately.
Who is that? And Danielle Koenig, comic and writer, who's very funny. I told her that when we first met, he had a pointy wizard beard.
Yeah.
and he has an iguana. And Danielle Koenig was like, either one of those are deal breakers. I don't understand why you kept what. And I was like, at that point, I had met so many because there was a very good looking guy who was like, hey, do you want to go out? And I said, all right, well, let's meet for coffee. And he said, well, I don't drink coffee. And I said, oh, well, that's a little bit of a deal breaker.
no.
But I didn't say that. He said, do you let's go out for drinks. And I was like, I sadly do not drink. And he goes, oh, well, let's have dinner. And I said, that sounds nice. It sounds like a kind of a big, I don't want to go anywhere fancy. He was like, I want to take you somewhere fancy.
Wow, you've already had 3 arguments.
No shit. This is a guy who, by the way, was very
See, now
handsome.
to me, I would go out with him. At that point,
Right.
we've had enough arguments for me to go, this is a possible
we got some in the
relationship.
bank. We got some in the bank. We won't even have to go there. So I show up, and he's already had 2 drinks before dinner. And we sit down, and he has a drink with dinner.
Yeah.
It's a very fancy restaurant. He ends up, it's expensive. And I am a comic.
Did you pay?
No, I offered to pay half.
Yeah.
Because I was at the point where I was like, well, you're not. And I don't know how you are, but I was raised that you kind of have to at least put out a little.
Yeah, I was raised that way too.
It's the dumbest. It isn't okay.
I'm still astonished that women don't feel like that. And I'm like,
it's great.
how I wish my head was that way.
Yes. But I actually, because
I'm
I was
flawed.
Well, the thing is
not
it's
from a
just-
guy's point of view though.
No, well, but the right guy, that's
Yeah.
a flawed idea and this guy was like, no, I'm not doing this. And he wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
He literally, but I have to say this, is that the last email I got before we went out to dinner, he said, so what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a stand-up comic. And he goes, oh, I used to do stand-up. I hate stand-up comedy.
Oh my God.
And I said, well, then we should not go out because it's what I do and it's kind of what I am.
yes,
and he
it's
said-
what you are.
And
Yeah.
he said, no, I don't mean anything by it. Yes, it turns out you might have.
Well, it's-
and then we went out and we did not have a great time.
No, you didn't.
And we didn't go out again. But he was a nice enough man. He was just clearly looking for a different woman.
The hard thing to explain is like I'm steeped in. I have been dipped into stand-up comedy
There you
like
go.
a tea bag in water.
Yeah.
It permeates my
Right.
entire body. Every cell of me is a comic.
Right.
And I just against any kind of logic, I keep doing comedy. I mean, there's no reason why I would. And
I got reasons.
and I have
You are
plans
reasons?
for
Yes.
more.
Right,
you know?
right. Always.
Like I might become a pursue citizenship in Luxembourg, so that I can be so I can
comic there?
perform as I'll
Do you
be
have
eligible.
the option? Are you
work in the-
eligible to be in Luxembourg?
has this insanely liberal. If you are fifth generation, and I think anyone in Wisconsin is potentially fifth generation Luxembourg because
Okay.
they all went to this one part of Wisconsin. I've been going into my family's roots.
Right, because
And
you're
anyway,
also dipped in feelings.
Yes, I have. I have a great grandmother who fits the exact specifications of what
Okay.
they said can be your the furthest back your ancestors.
And is Luxembourg in the EU?
It's got to be right. It's
Right,
one
so
of
the
those
middle of-
little.
it's- right,
it's one
it's
of
in the
those
middle
little
of
tax
Europe.
havens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a like it has like its own little language, but they either speak German or French. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I when my kids in college, I'm going to Luxembourg.
All right. Why not? I just asked Andy.
There's probably a lot
yesterday.
of reasons why not.
Well, there's that. But you'll probably get to play Paris, and I'll be like, oh,
Yes, I will.
Laurie Kilmartin got to do stand up in Paris. And someone did say to me, "Do you speak French?" And I was like, "No, I don't think you have to. I think it's all right.
I don't think Tom speaks French.
I don't think Tom speaks French.
He might though. Why would we even laugh?
What,
about
yeah, why
that?
would we judge? I have shitty college French left over. Anyone? Si j'étais un garçon, j'aurais un zizi.
I wish I could speak it. It
That's a
sounds
dick
so
joke.
beautiful.
It's
Good.
the if-then statement.
It is?
Yeah. If I were a boy, I would have a penis.
Oh.
Yes, on ZZ. It's what little kids would call their pee-pee.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if the female version is Zizette. But I've always wondered.
ZZ is a beautiful name.
It's a Zizette Ashcraft. If, yes.
Because I was so embarrassed that I hadn't seen Star Wars when we spoke last week.
Yes.
I went and saw it last. Oh, I had this crazy private.
And you have a
gig last
9-year-old
night.
boy. There's
Yeah.
no reason not to
I
see
haven't
Star
seen
Wars.
him in a week. I've been in
Right.
heaven. Okay, but he's meeting me here. I resume custody in about, like 35 minutes.
And he's taking the bus?
No, his dad's going to
Oh,
drop him
thank
off
God.
here. It
There
might
we
be
go.
awkward.
It's-
Just don't
Don't leave me
pretend
alone.
like everything's normal.
Everything's normal.
Yeah. So, so last night I had this corporate, or not a private party. They emailed me. They see me in a show. How much would you charge to do a little
All of the money.
performance?
Yes.
at our house. And I go,
the
oh,
house.
And so I was like, all right, what's the amount that I won't resent the fact that I have to worry about.
Never say
being
no without a
clean.
number. There you go.
Right. So I gave him a number. And then I got to the house, and I clearly could have asked for 3 times the amount.
That's the worst about never say no
It
without a number.
hurt.
It is painful.
They were the nicest people. It was the easiest show. It was painless. And
Right. Oh, that's good.
It was a nice little
there you
chunk
go.
of money.
Then it
but
was a nice chunk of
yes.
money.
So then,
But you could have asked for $1 gajillion.
a lot more. But then I went to Star Wars, which
And then you just went to Star Wars by yourself?
yeah, I did
Without your
yeah,
boy?
because you know what? I'm a tree that leans over to the right because the wind's been blowing me, and I can do shit by myself all
You
the
can,
time.
But I'm surprised you didn't go see, I don't know, something else. Some other movie that, but
Sisters or something.
Yeah, something.
I want to see
Hateful
Sisters.
Eight. I don't know.
I just wanted to be able to talk to you about Carrie Fisher.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
And plus, you had seen Star Wars last week, and
Twice.
I'm starting to feel like
Yes.
I'm not an American. So
right.
I'm like, I got to see it.
You got to go see it again with the. Do you think he's seen it already?
God.
Do you think he's seen it already?
I don't know. Let's try not to say his name too much.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, just in case.
Oh, do you want to?
Can you bleep it? What do you do? Would you
just
bleep
take it out.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. So,
will
Loved
you go
it.
see it? You'll go see it again, maybe?
with my son.
Yeah.
No. I'll say my son, but I just don't want to say his name.
Of course.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
leave that in that I don't want to say his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let him. You know what?
Let him grow up without it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need to be coasting off my podcast fame. You know,
Yeah.
and let him start
Make
his
your
own
own way.
podcast.
Make your own way.
That's right.
It's, I saw Bullet. That came out in 1968.
Yeah, that's
I
a Steve
just saw it.
McQueen movie,
I
right?
just saw it. Yeah, it was all
Okay,
right.
let's go back to
Let's go back to Star
Save
Wars.
Bullet for a day when absolutely nothing's happening, and we'll review a movie from 45 years ago.
Nice work on the math. Anyway, so what? So you liked it?
I loved
Had you seen the original three?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
And but I didn't. I don't have this spiritual connection,
Right.
to them. And I don't know. Maybe because I read Joseph Campbell before I saw Star Wars. I'm like, oh yeah, check.
I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
guess
I see what he's doing.
everyone, the hero's journey, got it. Okay,
Right. Hero's Journey, but it's also a space western.
Yeah.
So super fun.
Yes,
I
it is.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, but the new one was really great.
Yeah.
And loved Rey, the female lead,
Yep.
played by
Ray Kenobi, Ray
Daisy-
Skywalker, whatever her name will
Daisy
turn out
Ridley.
to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was great. Ray
Yeah.
Kenobi. You think
Yeah.
she's related to Obi-Wan Kenobi?
He's our only hope. I don't know. All I know is that, but what I wish for, and I loved it without reservation. I don't have a problem with it. But what I do wish, but this is with all movies, is
Yeah.
that the Americans didn't have such a damn love of a dynasty, of a royalty, of a family.
right.
Why can't it just be like a regular, like anyone can get a letter from Hogwarts? What the fuck? Why does it have to be somebody's kid?
Interesting.
Yeah.
The British author didn't
Didn't have
the
it didn't-
American.
Yeah, Hermione was
Interesting.
she was just a regular walking around Muggle,
Right.
And then she got the letter because she had magical. Anyway, but
Yeah.
how great was it that there were women everywhere and there were people of color everywhere?
Yes.
Yeah,
it
'cause
was
remember that's what I
awesome.
was talking about last
Yeah,
week.
and it didn't feel didn't feel like somebody was saying, "Look how diverse I am." It just felt like we cast cool actors
And then
you
just
know,
made the background into a more global look to it.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
like we're out in space.
Now, who was Lupita? Was Lupita one of the voices?
Yeah, she played the Linda Hunt character.
Oh, that was
Yes.
her. Okay,
I
all right.
wanted it to be Linda Hunt.
I can see.
yeah.
Now I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
It's because
but-
I have a reference to the Year of Living Dangerously. Anyway, which is also from
You're
30
aging.
years ago.
It's aging forward because that's like from the 70s.
That's the late 70s,
I
early
can't wait till
80s.
your 80s step reference.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
soon.
going to be great. What did I
But
see?
Carrie Fisher,
Oh, right,
was
so-
trolled horrifically
Hardcore.
for aging.
Right.
And then somebody at the New York Post wrote an article like, "If you don't like it, then don't be an actress."
Right.
Like,
Let's say
fuck
that guy's
you,
name,
you
Kyle
fucking
Smith.
young white
Yeah.
male piece of shit. I don't normally go, but what the
Allow me to make
hell?
something sweeping,
Show a
sir.
little respect.
Right.
This woman has had a career for a really long time.
Right, and she's on the internet, and she gets,
Yeah, she can
and
read.
she's getting a lot of bullshit that is exceptional, and she's just going, "Hey, stop doing that."
Yeah.
That's
Right.
It's I liked what she said. She said, "I have 3 feelings left. You're hurting them."
And you're hurting all of them.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like, he literally, his name is Kyle Smith, and it was a New York Post thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally said something like, "This week Fisher had herself a twit tantrum.
No, it's
and I was
a
like, that
tweet.
isn't even,
Yeah,
that's
stop
just,
being
you're being
clever and cute. You're just
He's just being, and he was like, "Oh, no one would know the name Carrie Fisher if it weren't for her ability to leverage her looks." I'm sorry, isn't she the daughter of Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds? She would have found work anyway.
Yeah.
It would have all worked out for her.
But I love Carrie Fisher, but she's not. She was never a hottie. She
No.
always looked smart. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
it was so weird to see her in the slave Leia outfit, because it's like, no, that's not.
That's the librarian. Who
That's
puts
not
the
her gig
librarian
at
in
all.
the slave outfit?
Yeah, that's why it was so jarring. You
right,
know,
right. Because she was a mercenary.
Yeah.
And she was a rebel fighter, and she's like, "Give me the gun."
Right,
Yeah.
and the rest of her career was never based on her looks. It was she
Nope.
wrote memoirs. She wrote the screenplay for
Yeah.
whatever her movie,
Oh, that
the
movie
better
about-
mother
yeah.
relationship. So it was never based on. So that's not even accurate.
No.
and
This guy's just taking pot shots for no reason.
yeah, and it's I think it's tough when you're famous when you're young, because people will always compare you to when you were 19.
Right.
Thank
Right.
God you and I.
Right, we're never going to have that problem because we are well-kept secrets in show business.
If we get famous next year, we'll be compared to how we looked when we were fit. You know, like
Yeah,
we'll always
it's gonna
look not
be-
too bad compared to our famous
Hey, it's
selves.
working out. Oh my God! So now you're 70. Okay.
Yeah, like Helen Mirren. I guess she was famous in Britain, but not really in the States until the last 10 years. And
Right.
everyone's like, she looks amazing, and no one really compares her to her former self. When you see a picture of young Helen Mirren, it's stunning. But
famous-
she doesn't get shit on because we
Right.
discovered her when she was old.
So I go to the Cap City Comedy Club
Yeah.
probably 10 years ago, and they have maybe 6 years ago, and they have a headshot from 12 years ago, 15
Right.
years ago. And I was like, hey, I sent you new headshots. I don't.
Advertising you, or they're using
Yeah,
it
yeah,
15
yeah. So it was this very beautiful shot that Andy
Yeah.
Kindler's wife took of
Yeah.
me. She's an amazing portraiture.
Yeah.
And I forget who said, oh, I just really like that picture. You look really good in that picture. And I was like, well, I got a really great baby picture of myself too. Do you want to put that one up? It's like, because they're not going to see that person. That lady is not coming. Because that was me when I was 29.
Oh, my
so
God.
it's fine, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was.
But Carrie Fisher, I think
found that
Carrie
she-
Fisher does look kind of cool. She looks
She
great
looks
for
fine.
herself.
She looks exactly her age. The other thing, like
But she looks better in her age because she's from here and she has a team.
Yeah.
So 59 in Wisconsin looks much older.
oh, it looks like the
Yeah.
Averys. It looks like
Right,
everyone
right.
from Making a Murder. Even the people who are 25, they look 50.
Right,
Yeah,
right. There's
59.
trouble.
But somebody like
There are also very good-looking people in Wisconsin. Let me just say, just as a defense of my state.
you do get attacked for your
Cheese consumption?
for any sort. No, but you accidentally slammed North Platte, Nebraska because Comedy Central edited out some
the
context.
punchline. They
Yeah,
edited out
so-
the context.
That's what I
So
call the punchline,
Yeah, that's
context.
context. Oh, good.
Yeah, so you do need to
So
state that.
Yes, I do, because every 4 years, whenever Comedy Central re-airs that thing from 2003, I get 4 evil messages, people going, that's just cruel. And I was like, wow, it's so long. Everyone's dead. Bin Laden's dead. The guy
Bin
that
Laden
heckled me, because it was a Bin
And you
Laden
know what?
reference.
They're all swimming in oil money. Those or
Right,
fracking
they're
money or
right.
whatever.
They're just go get yourself an I don't know something that will hold you above the earthquakes. It's fine. It's
I like how you didn't have the word in your head and you just kept going because you're a
that's what I'll
professional
do.
comedian.
That's right. I will just
You know
keep
what?
going.
You're like, I'll find something
Yes.
and then I'll get out of this.
Somebody
immediately.
asked for my opinion about something I don't know about. Let's do this. That's what comedy's all about.
So somebody like Christy Brinkley, who I think is almost the same age as Carrie Fisher. I don't know if you've
Really?
seen her lately.
No.
She
Christy
looks
Brinkley, Billy Joel's
amazing. Yeah.
first, but
She
she was a
looks-
supermodel,
she was
right?
a
So-
supermodel.
So she was born with a skeleton
She was
that was
born,
all.
yeah, she's born
Yeah.
beautiful, and she kept it up, and
Right, she's been doing sit-ups and whatever she does,
However,
right?
she did it. So that's the only acceptable way to turn 60 is you have to look like Christy Brinkley.
Right, that does
if-
seem
if
like
we've
an
been tracking you
attainable
since you
goal.
were young.
Yes, that seems like an attainable goal for the rest of us. That seems excellent.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be. I can't wait to look like Christy Brinkley when I'm 60.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And my hiatus ends today. This is the last day of my
It's the
hiatus.
last day. Tomorrow you're writing for Conan again.
Go right back
Did
to
you see
work.
Conan's tweet the other day? He
Which
said,
one?
I like to think of myself as the kind of boss that brings donuts to work.
Oh, yeah.
It's enough that it's a thought, right? And
You know what? That dude brings it on the Christmas presents. You
Oh,
got
that's
some
awesome.
really, yeah.
That's very
he's,
beautiful.
He's a great boss.
Yeah.
He likes to pretend he's horrible, but he's not. He's really awesome.
I like his
But I've
hair.
been super disconnected from current events, happily so. But
Happily.
it's about to end.
Right. You're about to talk about a teabag being
Yes.
dipped in the news.
Yeah. I need to find out if it's steeped or seeped because I need to. I like that metaphor. I want to
believe
use it
it's
again,
steeped.
but I want it to
I'm
be
going to go
accurate.
steeped because steeped is the way to go. So what about this? There's this New York comic named Lane Moore.
Okay.
And she has a show where she goes through Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
and people love it. But I think my
Well,
favorite
wait. Explain
thing,
more than what she does.
well, she swipes
So
and makes fun.
Is it connected to her phone's connected
her phone,
to a screen?
I believe so.
A
In
monitor or
New York,
something?
it's
Yeah.
a New York show, and I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. But there was an article in Cosmopolitan, and Lane Moore does write for Cosmopolitan, but a woman named Rebecca Rose wrote about.
I think she used to write for Jezebel, Rebecca Rose.
Yeah. Well, that sounds about right too, because but it's interesting. Oh yeah. And then there's-
Cosmopolitan, just as an offshoot, is getting a lot cooler. It used to be like a joke women's magazine.
Yeah.
And the internet presence is a little more.
You sure it's not the aging process that you're like, no, it's fine now. I like it.
No, Jackie, I have very young tastes. Okay. I'll have you know. Oh, okay. Go. I have a story when you're done. Remind
I was
me.
just going to say that. So the Tinder thing is, I guess, so. But what she's actually done is she's curated some Tinder things where guys are wearing the feminist T-shirt.
Yeah.
Or they've photoshopped the word feminist with an arrow to themselves.
Oh, my God.
And they're like, if I could just get laid, because you're going to want in on this, ladies. And she's just like, I get what you're saying, gentlemen. If you could, it's a little on the nose. It's a little too much pandering, and everybody wants to get laid, so you don't have to do that.
You got to appreciate a guy that's willing to try anything.
Well,
I'll
it is a
even
numbers
believe in
game.
women's rights.
Yes,
I'll do it.
even believe. Well, yeah, I'm thinking of, I don't know, just as my avatar, just a giant arrow that just says, not a racist, not a racist. When will black people hang out with me? More Asians. Looking for Asians because I'm not a racist. But it seems like such a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. But you know what? Guys want to get laid.
It's true. Me too.
They have to do all the work.
Me too.
It's not
Luckily, I'm
fair.
married.
So I was on the way home from
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. I took BART, which is the train in
It stands
in
for
San Francisco,
Area Transit.
Bay Area Rapid Transit. So
There
I
we
took
go.
BART back to Pleasant Hill, but it was the New Year's Eve BART train. It was the last train leaving BART at 3 a.m.
Wow.
And it was really fun. I was completely invisible. I was by far 20 years older than everyone else on the train.
Oh, weird.
And nobody.
Because it was bar time?
Yeah, it was the end of New Year's Eve. And
Okay.
it's just hungover drunks,
Right.
not even hungover yet, going
Right.
to be hungover in 14 hours.
Right, just sort of vacantly staring
Drunk,
people?
wild.
Sure.
And like to the right of me, there are two guys. One guy is just going through a gun magazine saying which gun he wants to buy. And the guy in front of him, it's white and black, and they're both bonding over this some pistol, and I'm like, it's so loud and broy that I'm like, neither of you have ever touched a gun. Am I correct? Okay. But no one cares that I'm there. And then I sit down, and the women there's 3 young women across from me. Maybe 2 Hispanic and 1, I'm guessing Cambodian, because she was Asian, but she
Nice
had kind
work.
of a wide,
Nice work.
yeah,
Sure.
you know that it's
Sure.
kind of a wider face and really pretty cheekbones, and they were just beautiful, and they were like doing they're just having like what I think is
They're
a great
20s
time
out.
for 22
Yeah.
out, selfies and all this dumb Kardashian posing and stuff. And I'm just looking at them smiling, and they're just like, oh, the old lady's amused by us. And then the Cambodian girl and the guy with the gun magazine are talking, and he's like, he has pot and he wants to, he's
Yeah.
dying to get laid. It's
Yeah. I have
very
pot.
amusing.
Is there anything?
And she's like,
Is
I'm
that
actually
something?
a dealer in Arizona. And I'm like, this is how not threatening I am. No one thinks I'm a cop.
No one even thinks you're a
I'm going to
cop?
call the cops. No one thinks I'm there.
You
They
were
don't
Rizzoli
see
and
me.
Isles. You should totally have Rizzoli
They
and
were-
Isles, those guys.
She sold him pot, and they were having this exchange right in front of me. It was,
But isn't it legal?
amazing. What?
Is it-
No, it's
no,
not.
it's
No,
not
no,
legal
no.
to do
It's
it that way?
medicinal, but she
Okay.
wasn't a doctor.
Right. She was probably a barista.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But it was just interesting, and then we all, myself and the 3 girls, we happened to get off of Pleasant Hill, which is the sleepiest suburb of all suburbs. That's a train we get on.
Right.
We're all just. I don't know. I just witnessed a drug deal on the BART train, and then they were like, "I'm like, be safe, guys.
Have a
I
good
don't know.
night."
It felt like
Right.
their sister or mother or something.
So, yeah.
And I never did that when I was their age, but I was like, I'm glad somebody is.
yeah, I'm sure glad everybody's living their lives to the
Yeah,
fullest.
why should everyone be a depressed comic like me at 22? I
want-
wish I'd worn shitty high heels that hurt my legs and just gone out too late.
Wow.
I don't
All right. Well, don't
a lot of regrets. Let's end on
don't
my
have that
regrets.
regret, man. Varicose veins. But what you know what I did for New Year's Eve? I know it's going to be pretty exciting. We went over to friends and we played board games. We played
Oh,
board
cool.
games. We played like 6 board games, one after another. I haven't played that many board games in a long time. Andy's a game designer, so he's always playing some game or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, we got Timeline, the board game, which is Timeline is a history. It's an awesome history nerd game. And I'm sitting next to my friend Phil, and Phil is there's not enough cards for everyone to play, so Phil is just doing that thing that I would totally do because we're all a little smarter or a little not as smart as we think we are. So like we'll play the timeline, and Phil will go, "Oh yeah, I knew that." And I was like, dude, you didn't know that I was like, you could have helped me and told me the order of when the bikini was invented. I mean, it's just essentially, it's educational.
It sounds like a very grown-up way to spend New Year's Eve.
It's totally sober. I bought a shrimp ring because I have shrimp ring history, and realized in the end of it all that I don't
What's a
care.
shrimp ring?
It's a ring of shrimp with a cocktail sauce in the middle. You buy them for about $13 over at the grocery store.
They say they're the cockroaches of the ocean.
They're full of Prozac now because we flush all of our drugs down the toilet.
Yeah,
and the shrimp have absorbed all of the moderating mind drugs.
Interesting.
So you don't get high off of shrimp, but you don't care anymore. You're just like, I don't feel better, but I don't feel anything. It's good. It's good. I don't mind it. So yeah, but we played that, and we played Bang, which is sort of a cowboy game, and then we played a lot of really, really fun games. It was pretty
That
fun.
sounds cool.
Yeah, it was actually, and then it was.
I hope I never do that, but that sounds cool.
It isn't anything that you would really be interested in. And then we had Martinelli's at midnight.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I am 107 years old. Weirdly enough, though, I was born 107 years old. So
even though you don't have kids, you should be a grandmother one day.
right, I don't
That's a
understand why.
waste.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
a waste.
Well, my sister came. I saw so much of my family over this holiday, and every single one of my nieces and nephews I have yelled at.
Yeah.
Every single one. Where I'm just like, that isn't okay. Stop doing that.
You did give my son the
I
what
did it.
for one time. And
That's exactly-
But I couldn't tell. I'm like, sometimes I can't tell with my kid. I'm like, is he just a loud guy, or is this like if I had another kid, I'd go, oh no, this
I
one's
see what
loud and
happened.
needs to be silent.
No, it was. I don't know what. That's the thing that happened with your son is exactly the thing that has happened with every one of my nieces and nephews.
So you're just a cranky lady who doesn't. like kids.
It just eventually it just becomes too much, and I'm like, you have to put that down. You have to put that down. We're gonna, and I'm like, and the thing is every single niece and nephew has gotten over it much faster than every of one of my siblings. Every one of my siblings.
Oh, the parents get offended.
Yeah, my sister was like, not cool. And I was like,
really?
fair enough. I get that. But what you should know is because we gave the kids, my niece is 8, my nephew's 5. We gave the kids Star Wars outfits. My older niece got the Rey outfit.
Oh, cool.
And the boy got the Anakin cowl, hood, cloak, and he can see through it. And he's little, he's 5, right? So it just goes over his head almost entirely, but he's like, I can totally see. And then I have them, I'll show you a picture. It's them posing in
I don't want to see
Ninja.
it.
You don't
I do
care.
want to see
You don't
it.
care.
I will.
You're good. And you're very polite. And but what made me laugh, the whole holiday thing, it was pretty good. It was we drove up. We spent the Christmas Eve day with my lesbian in-laws. Mm-hmm. My Andy has 2 moms, and
neat.
We helped them make ham and move and mess around. And
Aw.
I'm as close as they have to IT. But you were helping your mom because your mom's moving in, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So you got to find a place to put all of her stuff, or what are you guys doing?
Like I said, we should. This reminds me, we should wind down because.
Right. I gotta get it together, you guys.
No, yeah, we're.
So where are you working? Not this week, but next week.
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's right, because you're off a
for at least
hiatus.
a month straight. So I'll just be doing spots in LA, and I tweet them. AnnieLaurie16 is my Twitter handle, and when I have a spot, I'll tweet it.
Excellent. I'm at JackieCation.com, and I Dork Forest back next week, and I'm in Tacoma. And then I'm at Sketchfest in San Francisco, your hometown. And then I'm doing some weird benefit up in Seattle for Kermit Appeal. You know Kermit, don't you?
Yeah. Why does he need a benefit?
His high school.
Oh.
Yeah, his kid's high school.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's like, will you come up and do stand-up comedy for my kid's high school?
Cool.
And I'm like, yeah, we're not young.
Yeah.
We're not young people. And it's not like you had a motorcycle accident. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing the road a bunch. But hopefully we'll record again.
Yeah. This is our
Our
first
second
and
episode.
last. Goodbye.
And done.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Check out Deb D. Giovanni.
Yeah, check out Deb Di Giovanni.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.